going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. Okay, so in the background you can see me playing with my Sarin Prime, and I'm doing the tactical alert that's going on for today for the Orkin reactor, whatever's going on. Popping it, okay, pugging it, whatever you want to call it, public. So it gets a little crazy, a little hectic. Yeah, it's a tactical alert, so the enemies are going to be much different than what you would expect for level 10 to 15 anyway, and you'll see that. But we're here to kind of talk about the next part of this development that's going on, the aftermath, the beginnings, the changes of the meta, if you will, the changes in the meta gameplay. How it affects me, how it affects you, comments, discussions below anytime, please. And I always do relate these videos that I do create when we're talking about topics like this. I relate them right back to DE directly. I give them the information. I speak with them, through emails and whatnot. I let them, they come out and they look at the videos. They get ideas and comments from here, as well as on the forums and everything else. They're always constantly getting information. So please be a little respectful in that regards when you're making comments. But first off, 1813. It's the end of the end, or the beginning of the aftermath, however you want to put it. A lot of problems, right? A lot of people raging, a lot of people quitting. I'm never going to spend money again. I'm never going to do this. I spent all this time on this one frame to make this one particular setup, and now you've just screwed me over with your nerfing, as I would like to call it, rebalancing, please. Let's keep it to rebalancing, because that's really ultimately what it is. Nerf buff, that's the basic way of saying it. It's a rebalance. Whether we like it or not, it's still a rebalance. And they've hit on this in the third development workshop, where they're talking about, this does affect a lot of people. We are committed to changing and reducing the cheese, okay, and reducing the exploiting that's been going on. And the best intentions are still going to have some, mad amounts of people on one side getting pissed off and mad amounts of people on the other side being happy about it. They're also talking about the fundamental issue here that we are all trying to address and have been trying to address, and that is the underlying enemy cheese or enemy scaling problems, if you will. A few select abilities that they've touched on are changing and have changed the threshold of the content. Nothing is final, you know what I'm saying? So they're always going to ever be changing, but they wanted to eliminate cheese. They understand this whole thing is changing the meta, and that can be painful, and in some eyes the meta elements simply harm the quality of the gameplay that has been taking place inside of DE's eyes. This meta content, the way it was set up, the way it's been built up over the years, and they've never done anything about it, has actually hurt the game in the long run. So now they're making a change. When they talked about when they originally changed stamina, people got pissed off about changing stamina. Then they introduced the parkour and the melee system changes, and people were a little more happy, so they shook things up, back and forth. Well, these changes are needing to happen whether we like them or not, in return to Warframe ability changes and where they sit, and cheesing, weapon cheesing. And so expect that these things are going to change. They've got 3 years of data, people. They can see what's used the most. They can see how things are used the most. They can see how things are played. They can see from people's comments what's going on. They are going to be addressing enemy scaling and the spiky damage output that occurs and those issues. And that is the underlying part of this. Two ways you could look at this. They should have done enemy scaling first instead of rebalancing. But if you look at it from the other side, rebalancing to set everything up the way that they want it to be in their vision of their game, because ultimately that's what it is, it's their vision of their game, and then addressing enemy scaling to fit into that picture so everything works better, is probably what they're thinking, and is probably the way that it could probably be best done that way. I'm not them, I'm not, the developer. I like the fact that they are now going to address enemy scaling here, after though they've done a lot of changes to weapons and warframes and abilities and this and that over the course of whatever it takes. Okay, so deal with it. There's more coming, like it or not. Does it affect me? Now we're going to get into this part, because now you've seen all these changes. I've talked about them the past couple days. I haven't told you whether it really affected me or not. No, it doesn't. I look at the changes to the Warframes that are out there. I look at the changes to the Excalibur, to the Valkyr, to the Trinity, to Mesa that's out there as well. The Mesa one actually helped me out because I played a lot for Shooting Gallery the way I set her up. And so now she's got that extra buff for Shooting Gallery, works out great for me. Never really cared about Peacemaker, so even though the new mods, the secondary mods help scale up Peacemaker, it doesn't affect me in any way because I don't really play Peacemaker. Excalibur doesn't change a thing that I've done. I've always built towards Radio Blind and the Radio Finishers. I love the Radio Blind. I love doing the melee finishers. I love the finishing moves. I love using slash dash. I don't really care about EB, never did. Doesn't change how it's currently set up. Does allow me to go farther with what I've been wanting to do, especially with this double affinity weekend that's going on during this tactical alert, so that's a good thing for me. Trinity, I've always built her not for the blessing, but for the link, and I use the abating link augment most, so it hasn't really affected how I play my Trinity when I play Trinity. Valkyr doesn't really affect me. I've always played more Paralysis Warcry than I have her Hysteria. Hysteria's always been a last thing for me, so it hasn't really changed my setups there. So for me, it doesn't affect me, and it's ironic because the change of the meta now actually is in my favor when I look at it, when I discuss it with the guys in the clan like I did the other night. When I go back and I look at all my different weapon setups and my Warframe setups and everything as it stands, the meta has changed and is changing enough that my creations are more viable than other content creations that have been out there for several years. And of course, that's just my opinion. I know people are going to get pissed and hit the dislike button and tell me to blank off and all that stuff, but it's true. When I sit there and I look at it, and I've always played against the meta, well, the meta's just changed, people. And being against the meta is actually going to become the meta, if you will. There's so much more diversity now that the old way of playing had to be changed, so the people that played against the meta or opposite of the meta or did what they wanted to do on their own for their own playstyle to make things fit are now the meta. It's ironic how things come around in full circle. So it'll be interesting to see how those changes affect everybody else. You know, but that's a personal thing anyway. Now, so I'm happy to see these changes are coming. And again, I want your comments and everything below. I think when I release my Saren Prime setup discussion, which it'll be a discussion video kind of going through it, I'm going to give you guys the first look through how I actually build my, what I'm going to call advanced optimization and synergies, the way that I've played for years with every frame and weapons and how it all works. And I'm going to kind of go through that with Saren and the Saren Prime, and then I think we're going to kind of go that route when I do more setups. I'm hoping it gives you a better inside look at my way of playing and how it actually is and always has been extremely viable, if you will. But I think it'll give you a different idea, a different perspective, and maybe open your mind up to different things that are out there that maybe you never really thought about before. And hopefully it would allow you to make some changes on things to suit yourself better. That's ultimately what we're here for. I'm not telling you a damn thing about what I'm going to do is the exact way you've got to do it, because that's just not true. Because you don't play like me. Nobody plays exactly like me, so there's no way that you could have the exact same thing that I have and it be exactly perfect for you. You may have to make a change or two. You may not. You may play close enough to me that what I do is exactly what you want to do. You know, that type of stuff. But at least it'll give you the insight of where I have been at and how I've done things. And I think that's where I need to take it next. and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But regardless, I'll leave a link for the third discussion that's going on in the development workshop below. Go over there, share your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Stay tuned. I've got another funny video with the Nog, or evening with the Nog video coming up as well, as we just relax and let the sparks fly, if you will. I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in, as always. We'll see you.